Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Again, my name is Eskamani, proud to represent District 47, the Florida State Legislature. And I first just want to say welcome to our district. It's always an honor to have my fellow colleagues with me here and to fight unapologetically for abortion access. Many folks know that before I ran for office, I worked at Planned Parenthood of Southwest and Central Florida, where I served as the Senior Director of Public Affairs and Communications. And before I worked at Planned Parenthood, I was a patient and a volunteer walking patients inside our health centers when protesters were outside. I've committed more than 10 years of my life to this issue, but it's also personally important to me as someone of reproductive age who might find themselves in a situation where I will need an abortion. And right now, that is not the reality in states across America. Nearly 2 months ago, we saw the falling of Roe by the US Supreme Court, unraveling 50 years of federal constitutional protections. And since then, 17 states have banned abortion at varying degrees in the United States, 10 with complete bans. And of course, Florida is one of those 17 with a 15-week abortion ban with no exceptions for rape, incest, or human trafficking. But it's important to stress that in the hours following the Dobbs decision, the fall of Roe, that America came out to say we will not back down. Hundreds of rallies were organized around the country for abortion rights. And of course, Ruby Red Kansas was one of the biggest wins for abortion rights in modern American history, where you have a predominantly Republican state voting against an amendment to ban abortion in their constitution. And the victory for abortion rights in Kansas only solidified the message that each one of us have been stressing for years, is that majority of Americans and Floridians agree that abortion should remain safe and legal, and those who try to take it away will be held accountable. Floridians have mimicked this message for decades. In 1980, Florida voters approved by a 60% margin our right to privacy in our state constitution, which in 1989, the Florida State Supreme Court said applied to abortion privacy rights. In 2012, Floridians voted against Amendment 6, which was placed on the ballot by Republicans to water down the right to privacy, and they resoundingly said, hell no. And so time and time again, Floridians have stood up to say that these are human rights, these are our fundamental rights, and we do not want politicians to take them away, which is why Governor Ron DeSantis has been so hesitant and shy, even scared to talk about his platform on abortion. Because we know what Governor Ron DeSantis' plan is. He will completely ban abortion in the state of Florida if he is reelected, period. You have a bill, House Bill 5, where Republicans overwhelmingly supported and then rejected an amendment to provide exceptions for these tragic circumstances of rape, incest, and human trafficking. And I will add that right now in Florida, we have patients who are being turned away from medical care because of this restriction, to the point where doctors are allowing patients to become more sick until they feel comfortable providing abortion in cases where a field diagnosis will not allow that pregnancy to be viable. And we have a governor who just recently removed a state attorney, Andrew Warren, from Hillsborough, based upon not laws that Andrew actually made decisions on, but public statements he made that he was not going to criminalize women who end their own pregnancies. That's not the law in Florida, but it will be with Governor Ron DeSantis if he is reelected, because there is no way you implement an all-out abortion ban unless you criminalize women. You can't do it unless you criminalize women, unless you implement state surveillance, as we've seen in Nebraska, where a mom and a daughter had their Facebook communications shared with law enforcement, and now they're facing charges, including an adult charge for a teenager. You will have law enforcement check mail to see who has sent abortion pills online. You're going to have a deep, deep invasion of privacy if Ron DeSantis is reelected that will impact all of us and the people that we care about. And I want to add too that abortion bans impact every single person, but those who are most negatively impacted are those who are marginalized. And that includes our low wealth people, our people of color, folks who cannot afford to leave the state of Florida to access a medical procedure, and our young people. And most recently in the news, a almost 17-year-old woman, young woman, was denied access to making a decision about her future because the judge said she was not mature enough, essentially forcing her into parenthood. So she's not mature enough to say, I'm not ready to parent, but apparently she's mature enough to be forced to give birth. And that is the anti-freedom reality of Florida. Our governor calls us the freest state in the union, and yet we are taking away the freedoms of our constituents through these policies. And that is what makes Governor Ron DeSantis so extreme. And that is why these abortion bans are not about health care. It is all about control. And Floridians are standing together to say that we refuse this extreme agenda. We want to protect our privacy rights. Reproductive rights are human rights. And we're going to do everything we can this November to make sure that voters understand the governor's position, because he is so scared that he won't even talk about it. His statements have spoken to protecting pro-life, and that translates directly to banning abortion, because these are political terminologies, they're not healthcare terminologies. And on top of that, we know that he is campaigning right now across the country alongside other candidates who are banning abortion. And so the governor's positions are clear, it is black and white, and we're here to make sure that we demand answers from the governor, but also to inform the electorate that the abortion is on your ballot. You don't have to wait for the word abortion to show up in a constitutional amendment. It is already there. And so with that, I will toss the microphone over to my colleague, Representative Kristen Arrington.